In the deep, mist-clad mountains of Te Maui, beyond the realm of mortal eyes, a small and isolated Taniwa tribe lived in harmony with the land. The tribe's ancestors had been blessed by the Taniwa, guardians of the rivers and forests, who had shared their wisdom and power. The Taniwa protected the tribe from storms, floods, and predators, and in turn, the people revered the guardians with offerings and prayers. For generations, the tribe prospered, their crops bountiful, their rivers clean, and their people healthy. Yet beyond the distant northern range of mountains, there was a growing darkness, one that the elders had long feared would one day reach their sacred lands. It was a hunger that could not be sated, a cold that could freeze the very soul, the Wendigo. The Wendigo, a creature born of starvation, terror, and endless thirst for flesh, was more than just a beast. It was a corrupted spirit, a twisted entity that had once been human but had succumbed to a terrible curse. Driven by an insatiable hunger, the Wendigo stalked the forests, its very presence corrupting the land it walked upon. Wherever it went, trees withered, rivers dried, and the very air grew thick with malice. The stories of its hunger spread across the land, but the tribe had always believed their Taniwa guardians would keep them safe from such evils. That belief was tested when the winds began to change. It began subtly at first. The animals of the forest grew restless and disappeared. The rivers began to run low, and the crops failed to grow as they once did. The people were frightened but hopeful that it was a passing season, perhaps a sign from the Taniwa that they needed to offer more prayers and gifts. But then, one moonless night, the ground trembled beneath the feet of the Taniwa tribe. The people awoke to a chilling howl that echoed through the mountains, the sound of something ancient and hungry. It was the Wendigo. It had crossed the mountains, its eyes set upon the tribe, drawn by the life force that radiated from their land. A young warrior named Hemi was among the first to see the creature. He had heard the stories from the elders, but he never believed that such a nightmare could come to life. Yet, there it stood, tall and gaunt, with skin stretched tight over bones like the bark of a dying tree. Its eyes burned with an unnatural hunger, and its breath came in freezing gusts. Hemi drew his spear, his heart racing. But before he could strike, a great roar erupted from the depths of the river. The Taniwa, their greatest protector, rose from the waters in a massive surge of energy. Its massive form shimmered like the river's current, its scales glistening under the moonlight, and its eyes blazed with the fierce light of ancient power. The Taniwa spoke to Hemi, its voice deep and resonant like the rumble of thunder. "You cannot defeat the Wendigo with weapons alone," the Taniwa warned. "It is not a creature of flesh and bone. It is a spirit of hunger, a soul cursed by its own greed. To stop it, you must break its curse." The Wendigo let out a terrifying growl and charged, its monstrous form faster than a man could follow. The Taniwa moved in front of Hemi, its tail sweeping to the side, sending a gust of wind that sent the Wendigo reeling. The battle began. The Taniwa's strength clashed against the Wendigo's relentless hunger. Hemi watched in awe, his mind racing with the Taniwa's words. He knew the creature could not be killed by force, and if left unchecked, the Wendigo would consume their world, just as it had done to countless others. He recalled the old chants the elders spoke of, the ones that called upon the spirits of the ancestors to cleanse and purify. There was a way to break the curse, but it required great sacrifice. With the Taniwa locked in battle, Hemi rushed to the tribe's sacred temple, where the most powerful of their offerings lay hidden. He retrieved a relic, a crystal imbued with the essence of the first Taniwa, the one who had made a pact with the gods of the earth and the heavens to protect the tribe. The crystal, pulsing with life, was the only weapon capable of severing the Wendigo's curse. Hemi returned to the battlefield, his heart heavy with the weight of what he must do. He knew that to use the crystal, he would have to draw the Wendigo into the light of the river, where the Taniwa's power was strongest. But there was a risk. The Wendigo was not only a beast, it was a manifestation of hunger, and that hunger could overwhelm even the strongest of souls. The battle raged on as Hemi hurled himself into the fray. He used his spear to distract the Wendigo, drawing it toward the river's edge, where the Taniwa awaited. As the creature approached, Hemi raised the crystal high, calling upon the Taniwa's power and the spirits of his ancestors. The Wendigo hesitated for a moment, its cold black eyes narrowing as it recognized the power that had come to challenge it. With a deafening roar, it lunged, but before it could strike, the crystal burst with light, illuminating the land in a brilliant flash. The Wendigo screeched, its form writhing as the light seared through its twisted body, unraveling the darkness that had consumed it. The Taniwa roared as the river surged, its power combining with the light from the crystal, purging the Wendigo's curse. The beast's form began to disintegrate, its body breaking apart like ice under the heat of the sun, and with one final pitiful cry, the Wendigo vanished into the ether. For a moment, the land stood still, as if holding its breath. The Taniwa, victorious but weary, sank back into the river, its guardianship once more intact. The people of the tribe gathered, their eyes filled with gratitude for the protection they had received. Hemi, holding the crystal in his hand, was forever changed. He had broken the curse of the Wendigo, but in doing so he had come to understand the nature of hunger, the true hunger that lay within every heart, and the power of the Taniwa to protect them all. From that day forward, the Taniwa tribe flourished once more, the land returning to its former balance. And the story of the Wendigo's defeat and the sacrifice that had been made was passed down through generations, a reminder that even in the face of the darkest of curses, the light of the Taniwa would always endure.